What's up? It's Sunday morning. I pretty much just got out of bed. As you can see, my room's still a mess. I haven't done any cleaning to it. But I figured I should probably put out one, maybe two videos before I get up and start my day. As you can see, I haven't even shaved yet. For some short, easy videos, I do a couple more tag videos. I just found these ones online. I haven't been tagged in any of these yet. I thought they would be kind of interesting to do. The first one of the day is the 7 facts tag. This is just 7 facts about me. Not really a very exciting tag video, but I think this is a good way to introduce myself to my audience. Fact number 1 about myself. My first career ambition was to be a paleontologist. This was when I was like kindergarten age. I remember I was obsessed with dinosaurs and paleontology. It was what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was not gonna let anything stop that, and I'm not entirely sure what happened with that. I just somehow lost interest. I mean, nowadays I actually don't know a whole lot about dinosaurs, which I think goes to show just how motivated a person I can be. Number 2, which I think is kind of an interesting one, I can actually pinpoint 2 of the moments in my life which have kind of turned me into the person I am today. It's what led to me having the hobbies that I have today, which in turn have led me to just all the experiences I've had. The first one, when I was very young, 10 or 11, a friend showed me the website newgrounds.com, and I don't know how many of you remember Newgrounds, know of it. It's a Flash portal website. People would go and share their Flash animations, which was what, was popular on the internet before YouTube. Before people had a way to just upload videos readily. Animation was a huge thing back then, and my friend showed me Newgrounds, and I got pretty hooked, even though I was way too young to be on there. Newgrounds was pretty much my life. I spent all my free time on there. There's another fact about this. I'm actually going to wait till the next fact, but I'll come back to that. Second, I guess, turning point, which is weird. I'm not entirely sure what was the catalyst here, but I can still pinpoint it down to the month and the year. It was April of 2008. I'm not entirely sure what happened. It might be my discovery of TV tropes. Link to that in the description below, but a word of warning, it is one of those sites where you will just find yourself trapped. Basically like a Wikipedia page. You'll be reading a page, and it'll have all of these links to these different concepts or shows and stuff, and you'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll open that in a new tab for later. And by the time you reach the end of the page, you have 25 tabs open, and you just gotta read all of them, and then each page in there opens up 25 new pages, and soon it's 5 days later and you have 100 tabs open. I'm not kidding, I've done that before. TV tropes did consume my life for a little bit there, and it introduced me to a lot of the things that I'm really big on today. It introduced me to a lot of the TV shows that I watch, like webcomics and stuff, and a lot of different websites. It introduced me to Channel Awesome and got me into movie reviews and stuff like that. And another big one is actually another one that I want to save for a later fact, which I'll get back to. The first fact that I'm getting back to is that I've been involved with online content creation since I was probably about 11 or 12. This traces back to my involvement with Newgrounds, because it was like an animation community. At that age I was like, wow, all of this is just so cool, I want to be involved with this. And at this age, 11 or 12, I actually made the initiative to get myself involved with animation. I started using Macromedia Flash 8, the animation program back then. Yeah, I started making, dumb little animations and games. I was never very good at it. A lot of the stuff I made back then is pretty bad, which is why I've pretty much made an effort to forget where to find all of that. If you can dig that stuff up, props to you, but I'm not going to link to it. But it's something that kind of kicked me off on my love of creating content, this kind of stuff. Through that, it introduced me to DeviantArt. On top of that, Newgrounds introduced me to electronic music, all the stuff they had on the audio portal, which got me into making music. I used the weirdest things to make music back then, not even proper programs, but weird little game websites that I managed to use to create songs of my own. I then got involved with Fruity Loops, which is now known as FL Studio. And it's another thing where I've never gotten very good at it. It's not until recently where I've actually started learning about stuff like music theory. But again, it's something that even though I'm not very good at it, I just love to do it. I still do it today. Not a lot, but every now and then I break out FL Studio, start making some music. But it's one of those things where I think if I was never introduced to Newgrounds and like animation and stuff, if I never got into making animations myself, I don't think I ever would have been doing this. It's one of those things where like it just all leads up to where I am today. Fourth fact now is I am a huge anime nerd. I love anime. It's pretty much an obsession of mine. If you haven't been able to tell by like the posters on my wall. I've been going to anime conventions since 2011. 3 of the movies on like my top list of like favorite movies are anime. Most by the same director, actually. But seriously, there's a point from like 2008 on, watching anime was all I did. Like summer vacation and stuff, I would marathon through like an entire anime in like a weekend, and it was just one after another. I actually own quite a few DVDs of like anime and stuff. I own most of the animes which I could call like my favorite. I own. There's still quite a few out there because like physical copies of anime is pretty hard to come by, and when you do, it's way too expensive. Like a box set, like a couple DVDs could run you $200 easily. Thank God for legal streaming sites. The fifth fact is, I consider myself to be like a pretty big like video game nerd, even though I haven't had a whole lot of time for video games lately. But the thing is, I've never been one person to be like really good at video games. I've been coasting through life on mediocrity. I play a lot of games, I know a lot about them, but like playing like competitive games and stuff like Call of Duty or like anything like that, I usually rank pretty low. The one exception to that is Halo. I am a huge Halo fan, and I've played all the games, I've read most of the books, some of the newer ones I still have to catch up on. But Halo is one game that I am good at. It's probably something to do with it was the first M-rated shooter I ever got. I had Halo for PC when I was very young, and I played the shit out of that. It's one of the few games where I can pretty consistently place top 3 in a match. I played ODST Firefight like solo for just far too long, and I remember at one point, like during my peak of playing ODST, I was able to make it so far into firefight mode. It wasn't that like it was starting to get too hard or I would start running out of lives. It would just be like I was starting to play too long and I just didn't want to play anymore. So I would just have to die or just end the match. It's also one of the games where it doesn't matter how long I stopped playing it for. Halo 4, I stopped playing it for almost like a full year, like shortly after it came out, and I just went back to it and I was just as good as when I had put it down. It's also probably the only reason I'll buy an Xbox One. And fact number 6 is that I am actually Cree Métis, because I think for a lot of you that sounded like gibberish. What that means is I am part Native American, specifically of like the Cree tribe. I wouldn't say that's like a huge part of who I am, but it is still like an important part of like my identity. Fact number 7, final fact, is that my favorite non-anime film is a 1979 film called The Warriors. It's directed by Walter Hill, and it's kind of like a campy B-movie-ish kind of film. It's pretty campy. The acting isn't the greatest, but I don't know, it's just a fun film. The fight choreography is creative. The cinematography is pretty excellent. Music is amazing. I absolutely love the main theme of that movie. I don't know, I honestly can't explain why it's my favorite, but like if anybody asks me what's my favorite, that's the one I go to. It's a movie that I could watch over and over again. Anyways, those are my 7 facts about myself. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. This one I, again, tag KENdtv and AznNerdNation. Anyways, until the next video, which I might shoot right now. Who knows?